Very much, guys. We're not alone, of course. We're joined by SK Gaming's and Rated, whose team is still alone at the top of the tables halfway through week 8. Of course, I want to talk to you about picks and bans because there's been a lot of talk from us as well about banning out the Graves and the Lucian. You must have seen it coming, and how did you react to it in this game?
So we kind of try to develop a strategy where we have 3 top picks available, and we just try to like kind of get into the role and create a new top pick. That was in this case Maokai. So when Kog'Maw was out, Maokai was really hard to contest in a way, because whenever Maokai is in the game and there's no like hyper carry available that you can play against it, just the Kog'Maw could have shredded it, and any other AD is just struggling getting through all that HP.
So, do you think it hurts you so much that when Lucian and Graves are banned because you don't get to snowball the bot lane in the same way and like extend your lead from that to every other lane?
I guess there was some kind of strategizing problem in that way. We had more prepared also for IEM, but we didn't show it. I think that was just a mistake of our side, and we should have already picked, for example, Tristana earlier, just to like kind of avoid the whole situation.
Yeah, you do mention IEM. That's where that Graves Lucian thing came from, as well as the Lulu, well, focus or taking it away. This time, you guys, though, you let it through and you went for your Nami. Is that something you wanted to prove, or just, you know, be comfortable with knowing that in the future you might have that Lulu picked away a lot of times?
No, we never felt that Lulu was any problem for our team, at least. We felt more like, because of the AD diversity, I think there were not many ADs similar to Lucian and Graves available at all, and while a lot of supports, we played way more supports in scrims, we didn't actually play Lulu almost at all, but we fell back to it in like tournament situations because we felt there's so much power behind it, and you also saw it at IM, a lot of other supports picked it up in the end. I just feel like we have a lot more to show, and whatever they ban, we will handle it this way.
Yeah, you do mention that whatever they ban out with the AD carries now, as Cyanide touched on as well, it was a little bit harder for you in the early game. Do you think that you can remedy getting better in the early game fast enough in time for playoffs, knowing that you'll be facing teams that are better in the early game than Giants, and better especially in closing it out mid with a lead?
Yeah, I think we had a lane that was not supposed to win in general. I think there was at best a 50-50, if not a bit more in their favor. So what we did was we were trying hold onto our CS lead and just try to snowball it from there. And we felt like Tristana mid game is not the strongest, while Jinx kind of has a bigger power spike in that sense. But Tristana just like has a higher ceiling when it comes to late game. So all we did was just waiting out for Tristana to like hit the point where she was really hitting hard, and that's what we did. I think just keeping a CS lead, getting a CS lead is enough, even against good enemies, just to get Tristana rolling.
All right. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because Forgiven was actually down in CS by 20, but he picked it up right after and made it work. So it is testament to how you guys like to play. Congratulations. Good on you picking it back up after IEM, of course, as well.
Thank you.
All right, with only 3 games left for each team this split, here's how the standings lie. Alone in first is SK Gaming, with Fnatic just a win behind them. H2K rounds up the top 3, with Gambit a few games back in 4th. Elements are now alone in 7th, just 1 win behind the 2nd place playoff spot. And Meet Your Makers have tied Giants in last place, refusing to go into relegation without a fight. A lot of crazy stuff here today. For me, definitely MYM coming out on top was one of it. What was interesting to you today?
Yeah, MIM was, of course, a slight surprise, but Gambit's performance at IM not really the best, so it was kind of to be expected. Also, Elements coming strong today, actually playing a really good game, just double tank and running in, even though their warding was worse than H2K's, but they just worked out the problem by just engaging and crushing them in fights. Like, you don't need wards if you just destroy them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, with day 1 of week 8 coming to a close, we have to recognize a player that packed up their bags and carried harder than the rest. With 6 kills, 11 assists, and a 89.5 kill participation, our fantasy LCS points leader is the one and only Huni with 32 points. A great game from him once again, and cool to see him on another champion than the ones we expected from him.
Yeah, Hecarim was definitely a pleasant surprise, although not so pleasant because now people will play it even more in solo queue. It's completely disgusting to play against, but still happy to see him do so well.
Make sure you get that on your team. Now, Elements' Froggen also put on a show today, and @StankVicious took notice. He writes, "Super Mega Death Requiem. This is your LCS big play of the day."
Did you see the Prey Seeker going up? Box has already been used. Teleport coming down, follows up from the Requiem. The Mega Death Rocket gets one!
Beautiful setup, ulti from Froggen into Reckless here with the big rocket.
Yeah, from @stankfishes. I actually worked with St. Fishes a couple of times. It actually smells quite nice, so I don't know if that's accurate. And anyway, keep sending in those plays by tweeting @LOL Esports with the hashtag LCSBigPlays, and we'll check out some more of your favorites tomorrow. Now, tomorrow also brings the conclusion of Week 8, starting with Meet Your Makers versus H2K. The Unicorns of Love will face Fnatic, SK Gaming will take on the Copenhagen Wolves, and we'll end the day with Elements versus Gambit Gaming. A key match for Froggen & Co. if they want a shot at the playoffs, and honestly, I think they can take it.
Yeah, if they play like they did today, they have a good shot. Just a solid strategy, and like I said, if you win the team fights, it doesn't matter in the end what else happens.
Yep, we will see. Our coverage continues tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central European Time, and until Daylight Savings Time kicks in here, that is 10 a.m. Pacific. Now, sadly, we have to sign off until then, but for myself, our guest Cyanide, and the entire broadcast team, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you back here in Berlin tomorrow.